it be that my dear beloved son would ever kill a man veiled behind a tapestry without knowing his identity? I'm still shocked about how Claudius committed the murder. It's as if he's as crazy as a wild boar. Poor Claudius was only implicated in this because of my own bidding. Could it be? How could I be so selfish and blind to think that my own actions in committing Claudius to kill my husband would have solved all my problems, when the only thing I have succeeded in doing is driving my own beloved son into madness and murder? His words and actions bleed as much venom as a snake's fangs, so much that I can barely see my darling boy anymore, but rather a young version of his foul, fulsome, and filthy father, King Hamlet. That man was nothing but a miserable captive who was weak and incapable of running the kingdom of Denmark and its people. Most of me feels like my husband deserved to die, while I regretfully say that the other feels remorse and guilt. How much can one woman be expected to take? It all began some time ago when King Hamlet took a hunting trip with him and his men. Before he left, I saw his eyes wandering towards Ophelia, as we did our daily duties around our castle, just as a beast is drawn to fresh meat. I barely noticed how much it began to eat away at me until he left and I had time to ponder his wrongdoings. The businesses of state affairs seemed to consume him more and more after the trip, and spent less time with me, which made me feel unwanted and lonely, as if no one in the world loved me or cared for me. Claudius was attentive, while King Hamlet was increasingly away from my side. And one night, as we feasted over dinner, we both drank too much wine, and before I knew it, he was in my bedchambers, and the sinful deed was done. But I never imagined that out of it, such sweet love would develop. It was the first time a man truly made me feel wanted and sought after. It was as if I was the only woman his eyes wandered towards. But soon enough, King Hamlet returned, and so Claudius came up with a cunning plan to ensure that we could both still be together and remain in power, seeing our love brought out of this sin and into a godless of marriage. It was decided that he would poison King Hamlet with a dangerous and potent mixture that he obtained from an evil apothecary in the village. And then one day of his choosing, Claudius would pour the poison into King Hamlet's ear as he took his customary nap outdoors, rather than spending his time with his beautiful, desirable wife. It was easy killing a king. And so, as soon as he was pronounced dead, Claudius now remarried promptly to regain power. It was a flawless plan. Not only would I have a new powerful husband, who I loved, but he would become like a new father for Hamlet. And I would no longer be unattended to. And Denmark would have a bright future with a king who's brave and worthy enough for the throne. Not only did it turn out to be a flawless plan in reality, I never meant for it to affect my son Hamlet so deeply. I was just so caught up in my love for Claudius and lust for power that I did not even consider Hamlet's reaction. The death of my husband has turned him psychotic, weak, and a selfish man, all too similar to his ill father. It was his father's input in his upbringing which promoted Hamlet's weak mind, that caused his miserable downfall. Yes. Oh, Hamlet, how you and your father make me fume. You're a pathetic fool. You say you're essentially not madness, but mad in craft. Has this craft brought about this unfortunate quell to a good old man? Poor Polonius. I shall proclaim that my only son has turned mad as the sea and winds. I can no longer see my beloved son when I look at you, but dare I say a more evil version of your father. And so, as I sit here and think, I am yet more inclined to consider Claudius's plan to kill you, as he did your father. It's not as unreasonable as I first imagined. I can even proclaim it as a kindness to remove you from this demon of madness that has taken hold of your once innocent soul. Here he comes now, Claudius, seeking my approval for his cunning new plan to dispatch Hamlet. I have now decided I will agree with it, as surely it's a sin not to put my son out of